Hey, it's Jeremy Mulder and Jeremy Pronto from Realty Connect. This is Neighborhood Podcast Episode 1. We're going to look at 3 different neighborhoods. I am a real estate professional in Pennsylvania and in West Virginia. I've been in PA since 2017. Jeremy Pronto is our broker at Realty Connect. And you've been in real estate for what, 15 plus years now?
My 16th year.
16 already. Sweet 16.
Started 2010.
So you came in right at the end of the recession. Pretty much,
yeah. Ground zero, whenever they rewrote the rule book for how mortgages work and all that type of stuff.
And you're speaking of mortgages, you just got your lending license in the last year as well. So you were really diversifying.
Yes, trying to. So real estate sales, brokerage, property management, now loan origination is what I want to get into.
And then how many properties do you manage? Because you have RPM Connect is your real estate management company.
Yep. RPM Connect's the property management company. So we have like 70 something units under management right now.
So the 3 neighborhoods we're going to look at today are Moon, Crescent Township, which the reason, by the way, this is residential. These stats we're going to give you from the West Penn Multi-List today, which is the service real estate professionals in Western PA use. Are residential stats, and Moon, Crescent Township are combined here because that's how they do it on the West Penn Multi-List. Then we'll look at Mount Washington and then Peters Township. Those and you were raised in Moon Township, right, Jeremy?
Yeah, born and raised, and graduated 2005 from Moon High School.
So before we get into those 3 neighborhoods, we'll talk about how many listings we currently have on the West Penn Multi-List, which I counted it, by the way. It's all Western PA. There's like 20 counties on the West Penn Multi-List. And right now we have 6,710 listings. And Jeremy, in the last day and a half, I added 3 to those. So
good job.
Yeah. So we are, the numbers are starting to get up with the 6,710 listings. Now you were mentioning during COVID, how low did we get?
I remember it seeing somewhere around like 2,300, 2,400 active listings, residential listings across the whole West Penn, which you said like 20 counties. And that's from $1 million up down to the $10,000 junker property, like 2,400. That's where I remember seeing it at its lowest.
And before COVID, you were telling me a story before we started this podcast that you remember the Multi-List talking about like an all-time low. Tell that story real quick.
Yeah, so there's I'm an owner of, or I guess I should say, like I have a voting shares of the West Penn Multi-List, and that gets me to go to the once a year like meeting with the West Penn Multi-List has. And the meeting before like the announcement of COVID and stuff, like before all that stuff happened, I remember Barbara Cole saying that the historic low of the West Penn Multi-List at the time was like 7,400 listings. That was it. So that was back then. So now we're kind of not even at what the historic low was. So that just kind of puts things into perspective about what the market has been like here in Pittsburgh, just from just being a realtor in general. You know, there just hasn't been the volume of houses that there have been in the past.
And that will tell you something about the impact COVID had. If we were already kind of cruising at an all-time low of listings, 7,400, and then COVID hit and boom, we dropped down to almost 2,000 listings in this huge geographic area, that tells you why prices went up, right? If there's only one bottle of water at the fair and you're hot, that bottle of water gets pretty expensive.
Yeah.
And so now, with listings getting up there closer to, where they should be, the amount of houses on the market, it gives buyers a chance to negotiate, which is something they couldn't do during COVID.
Yeah, I know, 15, 18 offers at times. Now you actually have a chance to, submit an offer and negotiate a little bit, however, you deem necessary to.
And we'll start with Moon Crescent Township. That's in the northwest part of Allegheny County. And currently they have 55 active listings and 60 houses that are either under contract, contingent. So a lot of houses to look at in that area. If you want to go look at Moon and Crescent are both the same school district, Moon High School. And a lot of houses under contract. So people are buying and selling and putting their houses on the market in Moon. One of the things I always look at too, Jeremy, you go, okay, there's a lot of houses on the market. There's a lot under contract, but what about selling in the last 6 months? And in the last 6 months, 180 days, 148 homes have sold in Moon, and we're in July now, so the last 6 months takes us back to winter. But look at the last 90 days, Jeremy. 93 homes sold in the last 30, 31. So over a house a day in the last 3 months in Moon Crescent.
That's pretty good. Yeah, house a day. I mean, that kind of shows you that, houses are still obviously moving. And I just looked up what the median sale price was for that, like over the course of 6 months, and it was 335. So 335,000 is the median sale price in Moon. And I was like, look at the median versus the average, because the median statistically kind of rules out the anomalies, like the two bookends, and you get a truer average. So that gives you like an assessment. Hey, what does a general home in Moon sell for? 335, I'd say.
All right. Our next neighborhood is Mount Washington, which is in the city of Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, the city limits, has so many great different neighborhoods that the West Penn multi-list breaks them all down, where you can literally just pull up Mount Washington. And on Mount Washington, which has beautiful Grandview Avenue overlooking the city, lots of great restaurants and bars, 88 active listings there right now. So a lot of listings. And Moon only had 55, Moon and Crescent combined. So there's a lot of houses to shop for on Mount Washington if you're looking. I have a great listing right now on Bailey Avenue. It's just been renovated. Looks great. But 19 under contract and contingent on Mount Washington. And then when you go over and look at what's sold on Mount Washington in the last 8 months, houses are selling. 77 homes sold in the last 6 months, 54 in the last 90 days, 11 in the last 30 days. It kind of tells me there's been a little slowdown up there on the mountain. Maybe it's too hot. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's just like the price point too. I mean, there's a ton of variables in terms of like what might be the slowdown. Is it a particular price pocket? Is it people are going on vacation? I mean, who kind of knows what that is? Whenever I look at like the median sale price in Mount Washington last 250 days, you're at 281,000. So the properties that are selling seems to be like on average, like in that low 300 mark. But what are the actives? Are they over 3? Are they over 4? Are they over 5? And that might attribute to, the number of homes that are actually moving.
Mount Washington is one of those areas, and the Moon and Peters are great, suburban neighborhoods. Mount Washington, though, is one of those where it's a lifestyle up there. People want to, it's a certain customer that wants to walk around with their dog and their latte, or, because when for instance, my listing on Bailey, when I do an open house, there's just people walking their dogs, jogging. It's a definite, you can take the incline. You could take the incline down towards Pittsburgh. I mean, it's just a unique place to live, I think.
Yeah. It's always neat to kind of show houses up there that have some pretty amazing views. It's neat.
Yeah, and even if you don't have the view, usually the view is not far away, right? If you're on Mount Washington, you can get there
exactly.
Really quick.
Yeah.
So our next neighborhood is Peters Township, which is in Washington County, right across the Allegheny County line. I don't know how long ago it was, Jeremy, that the migration of people that wanted to save on taxes from maybe Upper St. Clair or Mount Lebanon started building homes in Peters. But currently 63 active listings and 47 under contract contingent in Peters Township. And then if we go over and look at sales for Peters, 145 homes sold in the last 180 days, 85 homes sold in 90 days, 27 homes sold in the last 30 days. So they're trucking in the last 90 days at almost a house a day.
Yeah. Yeah. Now that median sale price. So if I look up Peters Township sales last 250 days, the median sale price is 546. So that's like kind of right in that family like zone, like the typical 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath that you kind of move up to. That to me just always resembled like where the type of demographic that Peters Township yields. And obviously from like the stats, it seems like that's also the price point that's moving.
Yeah, so that would be the most expensive of the three we looked at today. You said Moon was like around 340, 335, and then you said Mount Washington was 218, I believe, 220.
And 282, I think, is what Mount Washington was.
And then Peters in the 500s for the median sale price. So a little pricey over there in Peters Township, but definitely a great place to live. A lot of people ask me, and this is something I have been talking to, customers about is average days on market. Like, is the market slowing down? Sure, COVID was crazy, right? It was ridiculous. So you could use the word slowing down, or you could say getting back to normal.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's kind of getting back to normal to how things used to be a little bit, in my opinion. I also think it matters like what price point your homes are into. And that's the one thing like with Pittsburgh is that there's so many different neighborhoods, there's so many different counties, there's so many different kind of reasons why this demographic buys over here and this demographic's over here. And whenever you kind of break down the statistics, that's where, you can kind of see what's moving in which particular pocket. So take Mount Washington. If the days on market are a little bit longer, there's less sales. The median sale price was 280 something. If you have a listing that's 600, 700,000, or if that's where it is, I think it might be a little bit harder to sell, but I don't know. Just depends on who's showing it and where the buyers are coming from.
So the two of the neighborhoods we're showcasing today, Mount Washington and Moon Crescent, they're in Allegheny County, and just pulled this today. Average days on market 49 days for Allegheny County, and then Peters Township's in Washington County. And if you look, 50 days average days on market, so they're about the same. And I was talking to you beforehand about a real estate agent called me from Phoenix, Arizona, a couple of weeks ago about sending a referral to me. And she asked me about our average days on market. And I told her, and she was like, wow. She said in Arizona, they're over 100 days on market right now. Like, they just have houses sitting.
So over 3 months, that's a lot. Yeah.
And when she told me that, it just reminds me something that whenever I talk to someone that's, moved somewhere else, or they're moving here, like clients, Pittsburgh's always a pretty healthy real estate market.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of that attributes to, we're not getting this big influx of buyers, in my opinion, that are coming into, into our area and coming out. It's always like just like the same people. You kind of joke about how everyone like in Pittsburgh's from Pittsburgh, like you're 1 degree away from everybody. So it's the same people that just exchange houses. I'm buying somebody's cousin's house or someone's aunt selling, and it's such a close knit like city. But the amount of people that are kind of coming into the market and we don't have that huge volatility, which creates, in my opinion, an even keel market, which is, I think, a positive compared to other parts of America.
And when we go back to the days on market real quick, with the sales prices are at all-time highs, interest rates are in this, sixes as we sit here, I think right now for most people. It's still a good market for sellers. They're still getting a lot of money for their house, taking a little longer to sell, but getting back to normal. Mm-hmm. And for buyers, interest rates are high. That's not great, but you can negotiate now. You can go look at a couple houses and make an offer. And that's something that during COVID for several years, you just couldn't do.
Yeah. Yeah. I do think like with these escalating prices, like the needle's moved, that needle's not coming back down. The needle's moved across the board for everything. You might have some volatility with a 3%, 4% here or there. Maybe it plateaus, but I just don't see it ever getting back. It's not going down. I'll stamp it. The needle has moved and it's staying there. Then it's just a matter about how much appreciation does it go from here and up, or does it kind of just like plateau? But if you have a 3-bedroom ranch home in Baldwin, at some point, like this is Pittsburgh, not Beverly Hills, like it's going to hit its cap.
Well, if you have any questions or want to talk to your hosts here, Jeremy and Jeremy, the number here at Realty Connect, 412-534-9169, online realtyconnect.properties. And Jeremy will do this again soon and talk about 3 other neighborhoods in Western PA.
Sounds like a plan. We'll see you.